Good morning. It's currently 1:30. Also, good afternoon. I went out last night, but not my typical Clara going out. I went to the last Roots Way Baba show. Way bye bye. Way bye bye. And it was a lot of fun. Everyone came. Good music, good food, good vibes. It was like the perfect send off, the perfect closure ritual in a way, because it was their last performance, their last time performing. So in a way, it was like closure for them, and then also closure for myself, because so many things were just ending. Like a lot of the people I even met last night, they were saying, oh, they're going somewhere, they're leaving somewhere. So I don't know what is going on in the world if we're all just on the same wavelength, but so many things are ending and so many new things are starting. That's another revelation I came up with last night. Like, yeah, things are ending, but that just means new things are starting. But hi, hello. Today's Saturday. I have 2 days, not even 2 days, less than 2 days until I leave for my travels. I leave on Monday. Today's Saturday. I'm majority packed. There's a few things that I would still like to finish packing before I completely finalize, because I'm not going to close my suitcase until tomorrow. You know what I mean? Closing the suitcase is serious business. Every time I look at my situation, I get stressed out. Like, I have a headache. My ADHD brain malfunctions, and it's like, I have to do this, but I have to also do that. And then I like go from one thing to another, and I'm just like, Clara, chill. I got really bad anxiety yesterday for the first time in ever. Like, it was the first time where I was able to identify, like, I have anxiety right now. Like, I felt this tight knot in my chest. It was harder to breathe. It was crazy. I was like freaking out. But then yesterday I came into it anxious, and then as I spent more time around the people I loved and just chilled and vibed to the music, I was like, I'm okay. I'm right here right now. But I wanted to talk about connections today. That's today's podcast episode. Connections. Week 3, baby. Week 3. Even though I'm leaving in 2 days. Week 3. No one needs to know that, except for everyone that just watched me say that. Connections. So yeah, last night I fulfilled one of my connection goodbyes. It was like that, yeah, like I said, a closure ritual. Very fulfilling, a lot of fun, a lot of love. I was there for so long. I've never been at a Way Baba event. They have them, this summer they've only had them like 3 times. Last summer they had them like every other week. But I would usually leave early because, I don't know, I just would. Never saw the end or the closing. I would always usually leave before everyone started saying goodbye, because that's just who I am. And yesterday I stayed from like 7 p.m. and I left at 2 a.m. Actually, I got home at 2 a.m., but whatever. The progression of the night was just so beautiful. Started off so slow, and then there was the peak, the pinnacle, when there was performing, dancing, everything, and then it slowly simmered down, slowed down, and we all sat by the fire and like started chatting and whatnot. And then everyone said their goodbyes, but I'm not too sad yet, because I'm still going back tomorrow on Sunday to see everyone. I'm gonna do some Sunday yoga, regulate my nervous system, because God knows I need it. I'm not even gonna lie, during some of the songs I felt emotional. Like, I didn't fully feel the emotions because, I don't know, it just hasn't hit me yet. I know that there's something brewing within me. Some of the songs, like, they were so beautiful. They played, I kid you not, their best ever. I don't know if it was their best ever, but it was the best I ever heard from them. And just like watching every single individual artist perform their instrument was so beautiful, because everyone adds their own flair to it, and like everyone's like so into it, and like pinpointing each instrument and then focusing on that like visually and seeing like how it actually, oh my god, it was an experience. I don't even know how to describe it. I just had so much fun, and like I feel so fulfilled from last night. And then a week or two ago, I think it was a week ago, I went to Virginia to see a new friend. Her name is Kat. We had a videography job together, and that was really nice. I was only there for like one full day. I drove down one day, drove down the other day, but then in between that sandwich day, I had one full day to spend with her to film and whatnot. But regardless of the filming, it was a fun trip. spending that time with myself on the road trip. It was a 7-hour drive, but I was on the road for 8 hours because, stops and traffic. Spending that time with myself on the road trip was just so beautiful and needed. Driving through a different part of the States that I've never been to, and then I got there and she lives right by the beach, and I just felt so happy. I feel so happy knowing the life that I've built here, and knowing that I can take this with me anywhere, and that all the work I've put in to build these connections and make all of these things happen, the video gigs, the community at Roots, I can take that anywhere. I'm not gonna lie, there's always this subtle fear that I'm not gonna make friends where I go, or it's gonna be hard for me to find a community, or I'm gonna feel alone. But those are just fears from Clara, who traveled last time, because she didn't know how to navigate the world yet, and now I know. And sure, there are going to be times where I feel alone or lonely, because that's just part of life. But I'm okay with that now. I'm a big girl now. Stemming from this theme of connections, there's a few things I want to talk about. The importance of connections, what I've learned from building relationships and how to build them, grief that comes with it, connection with myself, because we forget about that. We think about connections. Who can we connect with? What about your connection with yourself? Let's start with that. That's something that's been a very prominent theme in my life recently. More than ever, I felt so much self-love and self-acceptance because I've made a big mindset shift. Mindset is everything. Intention is everything. And it's hard. Most days I'm battling my own thoughts. Those old thoughts come creeping in, and I'm like, no, I don't want to believe that anymore. I don't want to be a part of that. And that's growth right there. That's awareness. That's growth. By choosing not to listen to those old thoughts and still moving through, even though you're scared and you don't know if this new mindset or this new way of life is going to work for you, because the old one is familiar and safe, and you still go through with this new one, this new path. That's growth. And I've been feeling that a lot recently. Just shedding old habits, shedding old mindsets, preparing myself for the new life and the new person I want to be. I feel like this rebirth coming within me. And I'm shedding the layers of what no longer serves me here anymore, and just taking more steps to become the person I want to be. Connection with yourself is always going to be super important. And then moving on from that, nurturing relationships in general. I've learned community is so freaking healing. If you find people that make you happy, that you feel love from, that you can connect with in some sort of way, cherish those people. Hold on to them, but not too tight, obviously. Everyone's got to be their own person, but hold on to those people. These relationships have the power to hold you when you feel down. I don't have any poetic line there, but these relationships have the power to heal. Love heals and community heals, and I've found that to be true within this last year and a half. And I'm so blessed and so grateful to have found Roots and that community, and I've talked about this so much in other videos, and I even made a whole video dedicated to my experience at Roots and how much I loved it there and what I learned from it. So feel free to check that out. I think it's called Outfits of the Week I Quit My Job Edition. Interesting title, totally different video concept. But the thing about building relationships and nurturing them is that on one hand, it's amazing, it's full of love, it can be the best thing that's ever happened to you, but you also have to be ready for those relationships to end. And I don't mean completely end, but sometimes one or two people are not going to stay in your life forever. And that's also something I've learned. There have been a few relationships where not necessarily we decided we were going to stop being friends, but personally I've noticed these friendships don't serve me anymore. There's a certain group of people in my life or person that doesn't make me feel like the best version of myself when I'm around them, makes me feel drained rather than fulfilled whenever I leave them. It's those little things. You got to learn to set those boundaries with yourself. And even if the relationship doesn't completely end, right? You're just going on a hiatus. Right now I'm going to go travel. I'm not going to see everyone for a very long time. I feel a little bit of grief. And I felt this grief when I left Roots because I was like, it's not going to be the same anymore. I felt like that part kind of die in me. Sounds brutal, but you know what I mean. And I feel the same thing now. I haven't cried yet, which is surprising. I'm expecting it to hit me on Monday. when the stress is all gone, because I won't lie, I'm kind of in fight or flight right now, so emotions don't really work in me right now. I think when I fully relax and know that everything's done and ready, the emotions are going to come out like wildfire. Another thing I've learned is how exactly to build relationships. That's something that I went into my last trip not really knowing how to do. So there's a few ways you can do this. I did Bumble Friends, Tinder, all that stuff to meet up with people. That's one way to do it. Or this time, I think I'm going to go to hostels where there's more people. And it's really just about putting yourself out there. I mean, it seems scary because it is scary. It's vulnerable to put yourself out there. Like, I think our human brains like to go to what's worst first, the negative first. Like, what if this happened? What if this happened? Like, oh, they're not going to like me. But what if the opposite happened? What if great things happen from that relationship? What if you find lifelong friendships, right? So it's just about shifting the mindset, shifting the intention, putting yourself out there. It's a pretty simple formula of making friends. And then also consistency, nurturing those relationships, coming back to them, staying in touch. It's something that's hard for myself personally, but also something that I've been learning to do more, learning to initiate in relationships, because I haven't been so good in doing that before. I've been waiting for other people to initiate, but recently I've learned, if you know anything about human design, I'm a manifester, and my thing is I have to initiate in all my relationships. And at first I was like, how does that determine whatever, right? But then I finally got it. I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Every time I initiate in a relationship, it flows, it happens. Like, sure, other people can initiate, but I'm the one that needs to do the initiating, which kind of sucks because sometimes I'm scared to do it, but that's what I gotta do, and that's what some people out there might need to do too. You have to be the initiator, going out there, introducing yourself, and then just knowing that you're not gonna become lifelong friends overnight, or maybe you will, but good lifelong relationships and those deep relationships happen over time. Giving it time, trusting that everything's happening as it should at its own pace. I've noticed that like in a month, so much can change, and that's when I see the most progress, quote unquote, within relationships, or the most growth within relationships. And always follow your gut, follow your intuition. If you feel like you don't really belong in this certain group, don't be afraid to slowly distance yourself. Don't be afraid to speak your thoughts and say, hey, I don't know if I really vibe with this group, so I'm not going to spend as much time with them anymore. Or even like tell them, inform them, like, hey, I'm not going to hang out with you guys that much anymore. And just knowing there's no hard feelings. I mean, even if in the moment some feelings get hurt, things move on. Things always move on. In these pivotal times of being in our 20s, it's hard to make friends as adults, but it also doesn't have to be. Simple formula I would follow is putting yourself out there, finding an environment in which you could see yourself thriving, and that's where you'll meet the same like-minded people. Inserting yourself in places that you feel your best, and then finding people that reciprocate that, if that makes sense. For example, Roots. That was like safe haven. I loved it. I was attracted to that spot, and then I found people there that were just like me, and finding those communities and relationships can actually even strengthen the relationship with yourself. So much inspiration can be gained from other people, community, inspiring you to do what you love, the importance of connection. I know whenever I have my own mental qualms, community has always pulled me out of it. I would go see my friends, feel the love, and just know that it's not that deep, first of all. Know that it's all in my head, and everything would feel a little bit better. Like, sure, you still have to do the inner work. Friends can definitely help you along that process. I'm gonna miss everyone here. Yesterday, I was just like looking at all these beautiful people I've met and built relationships with, and it's been a long time in the process, and I was like, I can't believe I'm leaving it now. Like, I've spent all this time getting to this point here with these people, like building this relationship, and now I have to leave them. Like, growing these attachments, it's hard. Once you get attached, then knowing you have to leave, the grief aspect. I hung out with Chloe for the last time a few days ago because she went to Florida, so I wouldn't see her again because I'd be leaving before she got back. And we shared this long hug. I was like, I can't believe I'm not going to see her for a while. There's just this weird feeling of knowing you're leaving and you don't know when you're gonna come back. On one side, I'm okay with it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But on the other hand, this is completely new to me. Like, never have I ever found a group of people that I truly love and have had to leave them. First time when I went to Hawaii, it was easy. Because, I just had to leave Chloe, but that was my girl. We've been friends for so long. You know, like how when you're friends for someone with so long, you come back and see them and it's just like nothing ever changed. So I was like chilling, you know? And also, I was younger and didn't know the importance of relationships at that point. Didn't really do a great job at reaching out. But I also didn't have that many friends to reach out to anyway. I think it was literally just Chloe. And so this time it's so different because I have way more people that I love and have built a relationship with that I will be keeping in touch with. It's a weird feeling. How will things be different when I come back, if I come back? Someone said they gave me 2 weeks tops before I came back. Definitely not. Try 2 years. Cheers to connections and friendships and beautiful relationships. And here's to many more. The end of one thing is the start of another. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.